What's up, good people? It's your boy here, Big Mike. So, today I want to share with you something small on how to lose weight and how to gain weight. I'm going to break it down in terms that you can all understand. So, when we're talking about, I've been asked this question a couple of times, but today I want to simplify it so that you can understand the basic principles when it comes to losing weight, gaining weight, and even maintaining weight. So, it's very simple, my friends. So, if you want to lose weight, you're a beginner, you're coming to the gym, and your goal is to lose weight. So the first thing you need to understand first before you even start working out or before I develop a routine for you is the basic principles. If you want to lose weight, you must be at a caloric deficit. Understand? Let's say, for example, what I mean by caloric deficit is that you're supposed to be eating less than what you're burning at the gym, which simply means you're going to burn more than what you consume, then you lose weight. For example, let's say you're 90 kgs. Your goal is to lose weight, to bring that down to around somewhere around, let's say, 82, 80 kgs. So the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to assess how your eating habits. How many meals have you been eating in a day? Let's say you've been eating 3 meals a day, a lot of meals, and then with a lot of snacking. So the first thing we're going to do is to make sure you stop the snacking and reduce the amount of food that you've been taking in a day, depending on how big you are. So the point is you reduce your caloric intake, that is one. Two, you're going to have to increase the intensity at the gym so that you can burn more than what you're consuming. Then automatically you're going to cut down on your weight. So that's the simple principle. If you want to reduce weight, you have to be at a caloric deficit. Eat less, burn more through aerobics or cardio workouts like running, jumping rope, treadmill, bicycle, swimming, walking. Those are cardiovascular activities. These are activities which simply increase your heart rate. Point number two, you're going to do what we call weightlifting or resistance kind of training, whereby you'll be doing now using the weights, the gym weights, to target your chest muscles, your shoulders, your traps, your arms, your entire body, your legs, your back, everything. So by doing that, you're burning more calories than what you're consuming. And then the end result will be a reduction in your weight. Point number two, you want to gain weight. The same thing. If you want to gain weight, when someone comes to the gym and says they want to gain weight, what they really mean is that they want to put more muscle tissue, because nobody wants to gain bad weight. Bad weight is fat, but good weight is now you're putting good muscle tissue. You understand? Which is actually healthier for your body, and also it gives you that good look. So, how to gain weight or how to gain muscle? It's simple. You're supposed to be at a caloric surplus. You're supposed to consume more than what you're burning. For example, somebody who wants to bulk, they're going to be consuming around 4,500 calories a day. But when they come to the gym, they're only burning up to around 3,000 calories. So you can see there's a surplus of 1,500. That is what their body needs to add the extra kilograms. You understand? So, and when I say caloric surplus, maybe you may wonder, what am I talking about? When I'm talking about caloric surplus, caloric deficit, these are food. You're going to get your calories from food, and the food you're consuming is broken down into three. I'm talking about carbohydrates, I'm talking about protein, I'm talking about fats. So there is where you get your your calories. So to break it further, when I say a carbohydrates, how do you calculate your calories, your daily calories? That's a very good question. How do you calculate your daily calories? When I say for you to bulk, you're supposed to consume 4,500 calories. Somebody will ask me, Mike, what do you mean 4,500 calories? How do I achieve that? How do I calculate that? How do I know I'm consuming the right amount of calories? So the first thing you need is a food weighing scale that will guide you through a food weighing scale. You can get that through online shopping or any nearby electronic shop. You can get that at around 2,000 to around 3,000. A food weighing scale. If you want to achieve your goal the right way and even achieve it faster, you have to monitor your caloric intake by the use of a food weighing scale. I'm going to explain how you're going to use it. So with the food weighing scale, you're going to break it down. Your meals, you're going to look at carbohydrates, you're going to look at protein, you're going to look at fats. Now, how do you calculate your caloric intake? So for carbohydrates, 1 gram of carbohydrates is sufficient enough to give you 4 kilocalories. 1 gram of protein is enough to give you 4 kilocalories. 1 gram of fat is sufficient enough to give you 9 kilocalories. Now, how do you calculate? For example, let's say you want to bulk. You have already been at the gym. You're an intermediate level or even advanced. So, and for you to bulk, you're supposed to consume maybe at least 4,500 calories a day. Now, how do you calculate your caloric intake given the values I've given you for carbohydrates, proteins, and fats? There's something I want to add. It's called the 40%, 40%, 20% rule. The 40, 40, 20. Now, the first 40 is for protein. The second 40 is for carbohydrates. Then the last 20% is for fats. Now, our total caloric intake per day is 4,500 calories. Now, calculate 40% of 4,500 calories. That brings you to around 1,800 calories. The same thing goes to the 40% for carbohydrates. It brings you to around 1,800 calories of carbohydrates. Then the 20% that is fats, that brings you to around 900 calories of fats. Now that 40, 40, 20 is the values we use to calculate your caloric intake. Remember, we are dealing with 4,500 calories. So 40% of 4,500 calories is 1,800, 1,800, then 900. So the 1,800 goes to protein. The next 1,800 goes to protein, and the last 900 goes to fat. Now, carbohydrates, you're taking 1,800 calories a day. Now, how do you break it down now to grams? Back to our formula. 1 gram of carbohydrates gives you 4 kilocalories. What about 1,800 kilocalories? That gives you around 450 grams of carbohydrates, 450 grams of protein, and 100 grams of fats. Now remember, we have our food weighing scale here now. We have for 50 grams for carbohydrates. Let's say you're eating rice. You take rice, you put it in a food weighing scale, you calculate. So depending on the number of meals you're going to have in a day, let's say you're having 4 meals, you take 4 divided by 450 grams. So per meal, you'll be having roughly around 110 grams of carbohydrate. So you weigh in that food weighing scale, you weigh 110 grams. That is meal number 1 of carbohydrates. You understand? The same thing you do it with protein. The same thing you do it with fat. Now that is how you calculate your total caloric intake. I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, you can find me on Instagram at Big Mike, Facebook at Big Mike. I'm also in TikTok, Big Mike. Peace out.